Hey, welcome to Unhitched. Today I'm going to tell you the story about the time I chose a camper over an adventure van. So hitch up, let's go. Here we are. We're in my camper. This is so much fun. Guys, this is my first YouTube channel that I've ever had, so I have no idea what I'm doing. So thanks for jumping in this ride with me and being flexible. Just a little disclaimer, this channel is not in tandem with where I'm currently traveling. So I'm going to be telling you guys stories from all the way back when I first decided to buy this rig, and I cannot wait for you to hear these crazy stories. Here's how it started. I decided that I wanted to do this, and I had just moved home from Nashville. And in Nashville, I was living this life where I loved it. I loved my people in Nashville, but I had a very predictable life. I was going back and forth to work. Was working a job that I loved, but I was working a job where I could predict what my days were going to look like. And no, thank you. I was over that. I did not want to live a life that I could predict. So after I'd moved home to Illinois, I had some friends that had a van, and I had some friends in Colorado that we were all going to take a snowboarding trip out to Colorado. And I thought, heck yeah, I'm going to rent this van and I'm going to try it. I'm going to try this lifestyle. And it was a Dodge, not super brand new. It wasn't bougie. It was a build out. So it had like a kitchen and it had a bed. It was in the back and it had storage underneath, and the driver's seat, and it had a passenger seat, and it was cool. And I was so excited to take it, and I rented it from my friends for like $100 a day. And I asked a friend from Nashville to meet me in Denver and that I would pick her up from the airport. So I did the drive by myself. I wanted to learn and experience, like, can I do this? Can I get in a car and travel across the country? And getting that van and pulling it into my sister's driveway the day before I left, I felt a leap of faith that I had never experienced before. This was something that was completely outside of my family. This was like anything anyone in my family had ever done. None of my friends. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. And believe me, a lot of people assured to tell me that I did not know what I was getting myself into, but I wanted to do it. I wanted to take the risk. And this current van that I was in, it was about the price range that I was willing to do. Because what I'd done is I had sold my house in Nashville and had this investment money, the money that I had made from the home that I'd sold. And I thought, okay, I could either go reinvest this and buy a house, but I didn't know where. I wasn't ready to buy a house in Nashville. I wasn't ready to buy a house anywhere else. I didn't know where I wanted to live. So I took that money and I was going to plan to use a portion of it to purchase this vehicle that was going to take me on the road. I took the van and like made it my own. Like I put my blankets, my pillows, I brought my plants, even. I brought things that to make it feel like it was going to be my home, just as if I was purchasing the van right there, just to see. I mean, this was going to be how I was going to live. So, and then I got in the van and then drove it to Hays, Kansas. It was summer. I was told by the people selling it to me, just FYI, this fan does not have central air. It has air when you drive it, but when you're parked, you can open the windows and the two fans. So they said, hey, once you get to Colorado, you're going to experience it. Like, you don't really need a lot of air conditioning and there's no bathroom. But they were like, hey, you'll be fine. Like, there's gas stations all along the way. You know, if you really have to go, you just go outside, like, no big deal. I was like, okay, like, what? So here's what happened. These people had been van lifers for a long time, and they had advised me stay at the Walmart in Hays, Kansas. But in a van, you just park it and then you're there. Like, you're settled. All your stuff is with you. You don't have to unhitch. You don't have to level. You don't have to do any of that. You're just there, which is great. And so you'll whip into the parking lot. So I had this whole plan laid out, right? I was like, okay, I'm going to go to the bathroom like at a gas station across the street from the Walmart because I was so concerned about safety. I was very, very concerned. Like, not worried, just like aware of my safety. But I'm like, I'm by myself. Is it really locked? So I planned the trip so I would arrive at the Walmart at like 9:30 so I could like go to the bathroom at the gas station. I could shut the van down, like lock the doors, maybe watch a show on my phone and go to sleep. Little did I know that in Hays, Kansas that day, it was 97 degrees. Here I am like, oh, I'll be fine. I can sleep in the heat. Like the wind will blow on my face. No, dude, it was so hot. Like I was so nervous about being by myself that I didn't open the door. I didn't open any windows. I was just like standing by the fan, like, please get cold. Walmart was very safe. But it's just something I'd never done before. An hour goes by and I have to pee again. I was like, what do I do? Like, I'm not going to get out of this van. If I get out of this van, someone's going to see me. They're going to know I'm by myself. They're going to know that I'm exiting the van. What if they steal something? This isn't my van. Just so much worry. So I just got brave and decided, you know what? I'm just going to pee in this cup and I'm going to dump it out. So I did. I peed in the cup and then I dumped it out. Like just opened the door real fast, dumped it, and then shut the door. Still piping hot. I'm sweating. I can't sleep because it's so hot. It was 11:30. I have to freaking pee again. I was like, well, I don't want to do that again. I don't want to pee in a cup again. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to get over this. I'm going to get brave. I'm going to get out of this van. I'm going to walk into that Walmart. I get out of the van. Walmart's freaking closed. So I walk all the way to the door. Everyone knows that I'm out of the van now. And in fact, when I popped out of the van, there was somebody standing outside of their RV. Oh my gosh. So I go back in the van. I still have to pee. I wasn't going to like go drive anywhere. I had to pee like every 2 hours. So like I had to do that. And then I was like, I didn't want to get out of the van. So I just peed in the sink. And I was like, this is not good. It's just so funny to think about how many Walmarts I've stayed in since then. How scared I was. I got up the next morning and survived. It felt like a whirlwind. But I got up and drove the rest of the way to Denver. In that time, in that Walmart parking lot, I was like, okay, check negative for van. I was like, okay, I think I need an air conditioner. And then I definitely need some sort of bathroom. I'm just not going to be the kind of person that's going to get out and go dig a hole in the woods. I'm just not going to do it. Unless it's like a experience that I'm looking for, I would just rather have a toilet. There are like mobile toilets you can purchase, composting toilets you can purchase. We'll do that. Get to Denver. The trip is freaking amazing. I have a concert at Red Rocks, just went hiking with the van. But then I meet a group of friends up in the mountains. One of my friends offers to drive this van up the side of a mountain. Like, this is not just a simple drive. This is a mountain drive. We got less than a quarter up the side of the cliff and we're like, this can't make it. It was all-wheel drive, but it's not four-wheel drive. I was like, this thing can't off-road. This is too big. We can't do that. So we backed that sucker down the side of the mountain and I had to like park it in another friend's lot down at the bottom because there was no way it was going up. So like already a portion of this trip, I wasn't able to use it. I brought the van back and decided, you know what? Okay, if I'm going to buy myself a van and it's going to be the place I live, this is my home. This is going to be my home for the next couple of years, if not more. Do I settle? And the answer to myself was no. Like I couldn't settle for a van without a bathroom and without central air. And I researched what vans cost, build outs and used vans cost with central air and with a bathroom. And they were so expensive, it was going to take my investment from the house and more just to purchase it. So I come back, I return the van. I'm really upset. Like I want it. I want that life. I learned that I loved the lifestyle. I loved the concept of being on the road. So I was like, okay, got to give it up. Got to try something else. Fast forward, about 4 months later, I heard from a friend that a friend of theirs was selling their vintage tin camper. It's a little camper with that tin on the side, and it was rebuilt. So cute. Had air conditioning in it, not have a bathroom. So I asked my friend Brandy if she would like to go on a camping trip with me. So we took the camper, and this was my first time ever pulling anything. So I like literally got a hitch installed on my vehicle because at this point I was like, I don't think I'm going to get a van. So scared to death about I'd never pulled a camper a day in my life. I'd never backed a camper. I'd never any of that. So the person who was selling it was gracious enough to let me borrow it and take it out for the weekend. I was like, let's go on an adventure. So we went to Natchez Trace. We hitched up the trailer and we took it out there. And it was a blast. It was so much fun. I don't know that I did not grow up camping. I did not grow up going to places like this, being in nature all the time. So exploring, and there's a lake, and we went kayaking, and we went hiking, and we cooked together in the camper and just had an absolute blast. It was one of the best trips I've ever been on. I just knew it. Like after that trip, I was like, this is it. This is what I'm going to do. I want a camper. I want to pull behind camper. I'm going to buy it. And they were going to sell this camper to me for, I think it was $6,000. And then on my way home, I kept hearing this pop noise, which is so scary. When you've never pulled anything a day in your life and you're driving on the highway and you hear a popping noise, it's scary. The side of the camper popped in like a soda can, like it popped in. So I pulled over into a church parking lot and I called my dad and I was like, what is happening? And he goes, I want you to like stick your finger behind the wall and see what you feel. Like where the dent was. It was completely rotted. So there was dry rot inside the camper because it was old. It was from like the 70s, 80s, I think. So I was like, oh no. And he said one of the most impactful things to me because I was upset. I was so upset and still wanted to buy it because I had the money and I wanted to purchase this camper because I wanted that adventure again. And he goes, Jesse, if you purchase this camper, you're gonna have to gut it and flip it. It's dry rot. You can't change that. There's water damage. It's not good. Are you willing to flip it? And I have this personality that's like, I can do anything. Yes. So I thought, yeah, sure, I can. I can do it. Something in my gut was like, no, Jesse, like, but I was ignoring it because I wanted it so bad. He goes, tell me what you want. And I said, I want this. I want this again. And he said, okay, you like the camping environment. You like that experience. Where do you want to go? And I'd never really thought hard about where I wanted to go. I was more enveloped by the lifestyle as a whole, not as much like the place I wanted to go. I said, everywhere. He said, no, think about it. Really think about it. I said, west. I want to go west. And he goes, okay, is this camper going to take you there? And I lost it. I started crying and I was like, no, it's not. So emotional. I drove the camper back to the people's houses and I said, I just can't do it. Like, I was so bummed because I didn't realize making this decision, it was going to take this much time to actually live the life. But let me tell you how grateful I am that I did this because this rig, this camper, and that 4Runner are exactly what I needed for this season of my life of adventure. So I brought the camper back, came back home to Illinois, and 2 weeks later, my sister's on Facebook Marketplace, and she finds this. It's a 2010 Dutchman T. She finds it on Facebook Marketplace for 10 grand cash, and immediately I called my dad and I was like, we're going.
Hey fam, here's my dad.
Hey.
We are headed to finally go get something I've been waiting for a long time. We're headed to go get a camper. So excited.
And she's perfect. It's you can see my camper tour. It's tagged down in the description to see all the inside, but it's absolutely everything I needed. It has 2 fridges. It has a sink and a kitchen. It has a bathroom and a shower. It has an air conditioner and a heater and a fan, and it has everything. Secure windows, like everything I could possibly need for Nashi and I to be safe. So I bought the camper and then I bought the 4Runner. That's going to be a whole nother story to tell you how I got that 4Runner. But since I've had this camper, I have been able to take it places. The first place I took it was way out in Colorado in the boonies. Like I boondocked on my first big trip, and it took such good care of me. I was so safe. I barely feel it when I pull it. It's the perfect rig for me. My favorite thing about it is that whenever I get to a location, whether I'm there for a night or whether I'm there for a month, I get to unhitch. I get to unhitch from that vehicle, and that vehicle will take me off roading, up the mountain, down the mountain, on the beach, to the adventure. Because once I park at a place, that's not usually the adventure. The adventure comes where all the places I go in between, and this is home. So I get to come back home to my wonderful smelling candles and my computer and my teapot and my comfy bed. Like I get to come home, and that is why I chose a camper over an adventure van. If you ever think about this lifestyle, I would encourage you to try some things out to practice. You can you can rent RVs, you can rent campers. There's plenty of websites where you can Airbnb them. You can even do that with vans. I would highly suggest you try a few things out before you make a full decision. But do it regardless. Take the leap, be brave, and do it. So thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, I would love for you to subscribe below or hit the like button, maybe drop me a comment, and I will continue to keep telling you these crazy stories of Nashi and I's adventures on the road. So you can follow me on Instagram at Jessie Lauren Harris if you want as well. There's a lot more content up on that page. So thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.